Hello, everyone. Thank you guys so much for patiently waiting. And welcome to the Reality Unloaded, the Challenge 40, Episode 6, recap and review with your faves. It's your girl, Keeks.
And I'm Brandon.
And again, thank you guys so much for joining us and patiently waiting. I see so many people in the chat already, so I'm going to highlight y'all. AR, you was in here early. Oh my goodness. Sophie, thank you. Hi, first time here. We're so happy to have you. Thank you so much for joining us and patiently waiting. AR, super early. Oh my gosh. Lena's not here today, but she will be back not next week, the following week. She's away on vacation
Mm-hmm.
enjoying herself, so we hope Lena gets to continue her vacation. G, thank you, my girl. I appreciate y'all for coming in. And yes, and to get started, like, let's just get right into it. We've kept the people waiting long enough.
Yup.
So this episode was called My Real Friends Era. And to be quite honest, guys, the
It wasn't all
episode
that
was
great.
it was not that good. I was like, "Oh, okay. This is what's happening." What are your thoughts overall? Like, why did you think it was
It
boring?
I just felt like there wasn't enough drama for me this episode. It kind of felt like it was the Josh and Banana show. So I was kind of over it once I found out that this is what it was centering around. I do wish we got more clips of, Janae, because she was one of the people going down. So I was kind of frustrated that we didn't get to even hear a lot from like Brad, for example, um, because like these are the targets this episode. So yeah, that's
Mm-hmm.
kind of my thoughts on it.
Yeah, I agree. It was just it could have been an email, in my personal opinion. Right. AR said
Very
it. It's the
much.
same old show. And hello, Bloody Money. Lena's on vacation. She'll be back not next week, the following week. Oh, we got some Lena stands. Okay. She's gonna be hype when we tell her,
Mm-hmm.
like, people were asking for Lena.
Right. They waiting for her.
But thank you guys for joining in. And then Sophie, you had a quick question. Do you think whoever wins this season will come back for season 41? I mean, we see Emmanuel.
Hope so.
I mean, I would hope so, but look at Emmanuel. He didn't come back this season. Rightfully so, because he was
Well, he
boring.
wasn't. Yeah, he wasn't really
Yeah.
relevant, but that's another story.
Um, so yes, so let's get into the first half of the episode. So we start off the episode with obviously Laurel explaining to Bananas, and I believe it was Aviv talking about, like, oh, you know, when your little sister pokes at you in the car and the big sister then slaps you, and then the big sister gets in trouble, and then you hear her say mom or whatever. That's how she feels about the dynamic with Kara. um
Mm-hmm.
but it's weird because at the end of the day, like, it still feels like Laurel's not taking accountability for her actions, and we see a little bit of it come
At
up in
all.
discussion. But how did you feel about that whole dynamic, Brandon?
Honestly, I thought it was just weird. Like, why? First of all, she keeps referring to her as like this little sister that she never wanted. But Kara's clearly made it clear early on that that's not what a sister does. And to be honest, her just like constantly having Kara in her mouth, like, it's just weird. Like, and she even made a comment, I think, to Aviv. She was like, you have kids, so you know what it's like to be around children with red hair. And then you just see Kara like, what the hell? Like, she's literally sitting there minding her business, and this girl just lives rent free in her head. It's just weird to me.
Right. I thought that was very odd. I was like, okay, all right. Like,
Like, it
what are
made
we
no
getting at
sense.
here?
She
Yes,
thought she
and
ate with the comment, and it was like,
I know.
it didn't go anywhere.
I thought it was super odd. I was just like, what is happening right now? Why is this even a thing? And again, I just feel like after all of everything that transpired last episode, and clearly, as we all know, apparently Kara was removed from the house for at least 2-3 days and to go see a therapist because she was so triggered by what Laurel had said. I would have thought that Laurel would have been considerate of that, but
Grown
obviously
up
it's
a little
Laurel.
bit, maybe.
Right. Laurel will always be Laurel. So, and then Bananas expresses that he feels a little bit tied to Laurel and he's worried because he's depending on his connections in the house. But right now, it looks like everybody's team Kara in that house. And that's a shocker to Bananas because we all know Bananas always feels like Kara has her back against the wall when it comes to the challenge. But it seems like many people are supporting her, have her back during the season. So it's a different dynamic than he's used to. So then we go to Era 4 having a team meeting, and Jenny is pissed. Pissed.
I mean, as
And
she should be.
right. And touch on that a little bit, Brandon. Like, what's going on with Jenny?
So Jenny's just pissed because she's tired of being the target for her team every time for the girls. And she basically says, like, you know, Michelle just sits there pretty and doesn't have to go in. Meanwhile, this is her, I think she said her second time going down. And it was funny because she's expressing this to her team, and Olivia in her confessional, she's like, well, duh, because Michelle's my BFF and Casey's the best female on her team. So she's just a scapegoat at the moment. And then what I found interesting about this was Casey chimed in actually, and she made a comment saying, Jenny likes to talk about her snacks, working out, and her guinea pigs, alluding to the fact that, you know, she has nothing in common with these people and she's boring. I just found it funny because I was like, Casey, what are you adding to the conversation?
Thank you. Like last I checked, you are the comfy couch. You are
I forgot Casey was
IKEA
there.
furniture. We forget that you're there along with Aviv. Until somebody mentions Casey's there, that's when I remember Casey's there. It's not like you're getting confessional. This is actually the most confessionals you've got talking about Jenny being boring, but it's funny coming from you because you're boring. Like, and look, I think Casey can be a great competitor. I'm not trying to downplay her abilities, but she is not entertaining in the challenge, or at least they're not giving her some shine. So it's funny hearing her, of all people, touch on Jenny's connections. And I do think that obviously with Jenny being from the UK and not being an MTV player or from Big Brother, Survivor, CBS folks or whatever, she's gonna have that sort of disconnect. On top of that, this is Jenny's first season since Total Madness.
35, I think.
Yeah,
Total Madness.
So we haven't seen Jenny here in a long time. So how is she gonna have the connections that Casey has, especially with the Vacation Alliance or whatever? I'm glad that they
you caught that little thing.
Yeah,
too?
I was like, okay. Yeah.
Oh god.
She's the female Horacio. Yes, I had to get his name in. Where's my Lena? Lena's on vacation, bruh. Yo, that's the third time y'all asking about Lena or mention Lena. Lena's gonna be hype. I love it though.
Right.
She's gonna be super hype when she comes back. She's like, they was asking for me, they missed me. But I love it. But that was about Jenny, not Casey. I figured that, sis. I figured that. And Aviv, who? I mean, we got a little bit of her later this episode. So anyway, so moving on to the Vacation Alliance, since we were already on one member, we're moving on to two others. So Josh and Tori say they need to have a convo about what the Vacation Alliance Core 4 is going to do with this next vote. And basically he feels like he owes Bananas for throwing him in Challenge USA 2.
Which to me is like, you don't owe this man anything. This man would not like break his back for you. So I'm just, you were convenient for him in that season, but you're not necessarily convenient for him in this season. He has people way above you in priority on his list. So the fact that Josh plays so emotionally sometimes is just so, you're there for money. Remember that. And he plays for his friends all the time.
All the time. And Sophie, you said it. Yes. Bananas would throw Josh in. He would throw him in.
He wouldn't care.
He would not care. I love how we're just repeating each other. Like it's ridiculous at this point. The fact that we have to even explain this. Why are you guys protecting bananas? Why are you guys protecting bananas? It makes no sense. It is one of the dumbest moves. Jenny, I understand, right? Because Jenny has few connections in the house. But Josh, if you already threw him in Challenge USA 2, it should have been easier to do this season.
Exactly.
And it's gonna backfire. We know it's gonna backfire. You don't even have to know the spoilers to know that this is going to backfire on Josh at one point.
I mean, look, if we know anything, we know that Bananas cares about bananas. And that's it. He's screwed over some of his best friends in the challenge. Not guys, mainly girls. But we all know how he operates. So
exactly.
We're not going to be surprised when he screws Josh over.
Listen, Banana Man, he's rotten. Pure rotten.
Very.
But anyway, so moving on from that conversation, because again, that was just dumb. Like, why would we do that? Why are you gonna do that? But then we move on to Janae, and Janae's been having some sort of issues with her era because she feels like everyone's kind of upset with her, or she rubbed her team the wrong way for saying she was going to be the target and then pretty much backing out on it and still getting chosen. Which again, just Janae, you don't have a say. Like, point blank period, you don't have a say, even though you wish you did. So she tells Nehemiah in this conversation that there were too many variables and it was too risky. That is why she did not want to get involved, volunteer as a target. But ultimately, it was going to come down to that. And how did you feel about Janae?
It looked messy. Like, she should have just owned up to it. I got scared in the moment. It is what it is. Now I'm going in. Like, at that point, you made your bed, kind of. So, like, just own up to it, go down and kill it.
I'm sorry. Every single time somebody says you made your bed, shout out to Love Island. I think of Serena. Like, I think of Serena's quote, like,
not this.
You made your bed, now hump in it. Every single time. I just can't stop myself. But so then Johnny has a convo with Jenny and says he needs to break Devin and Michelle because he feels like Devin has a hold on Michelle and is pretty much dictating the way that Michelle is moving in this game, which will obviously get more into later on. But here we go with Bananas getting involved where he shouldn't be, you know?
Just obsessing for no reason.
Like, and he makes comments about all these other couples and stuff like that. And I'm just like, Johnny, you used to mess with people in the house too. Like, let these people be. Apparently, in
this old ass man being grumpy,
messy. Think of the messiest bitch you know. It's a man, ain't it? It is. But let's move on from that and let's get into the daily challenge called Cloud Catcher. And go ahead, Brandon. I'm gonna let you break down the rules and the whole challenge, the whole 9.
All right. So the challenge, as you said, is called Cloud Catcher, and it was kind of funny in my opinion. So there are giant helium balloons connected to color-coded poles. 3 members per era will race across the field through the obstacle and grab a balloon from their color-coded poles. Once they have them, they have to race the balloon back through these giant pergolas that have like sharp needles through the roofs and the sides. So they have to kind of be careful where they bring the balloon because it can pop in it and it wouldn't count. They have to continue the process, connecting their balloons to the stations until all of the era's balloons have been retrieved, which will then raise a giant riddle that they have to solve. And the era with the most balloons at the station that solved the riddle in the least amount of time will end up winning. The losing era's targets will go straight into the elimination, as we know. So it's kind of tricky because you can get there the fastest and solve the riddle the fastest, but if you don't have the most balloons, you'll still end up losing. So what'd you think of this challenge?
I did not like it. You already know I did not like it. I said, okay, like I don't know. I just felt like it could have been more interesting. I
It
don't know.
felt
I
like
was
a
kind of
carnival challenge.
I kind of lost interest at a certain point. Like even with Derek's screams and yells, like Sophie said, where Derek almost died in era one and stuff, and like he's over here crying his eyes out because he twisted or sprained his leg. But it felt like you said, a carnival game. The balloon
Hmm.
things, I guess, like I don't know. I guess like I just expected more out of these challenges. Um, I wasn't into it. This was one of those that I was just like, this one fell short.
It didn't really show off anyone's strengths, I don't think. I think if they're like meticulous with the way that they carry the balloon, then maybe, but like
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that shows off
Yeah.
anything. But
Yeah.
just to give everyone a reminder of who the targets are for era one, the targets are Brad and Rachel. For era two, the targets are Laurel and Bananas. For era three, Corey and Janae, and then for era four, Josh and Jenny. So right before we get into the actual challenge itself, in era two, there's a little turmoil between the players. And
Yes.
Kara basically says she initially wanted to throw the challenge, but she doesn't have it in her character and won't be like Laurel. And then you see Laurel getting pissed saying, like, don't even listen, don't even listen. But I just found it funny, like she just acts like a big child. I just don't understand.
But I do want to say this. Cara, why didn't you throw it? You
I
should have
feel
just
like
thrown it. You should have been
if
petty.
she would have done that, her team would have looked at her a certain way. Her team being Laurel, probably Nehemiah, and Johnny, because they would have said, "Oh, you threw the challenge, so you deserve to go down." Blah blah blah, and it kind of would have like been a setback for her in a sense. So I think she's more so playing it safe, and she did good throughout the challenge, pretty much. So I don't think it was worth it, to be honest.
I would have been petty. You want to go low? I'm gonna go to hell. Okay. I would have been like, I'm not doing a damn thing. Okay. Like
She said, "Screw y'all."
I'm sorry. I don't care. Laurel, the bananas, I definitely don't care, especially with them being the targets. Absolutely. And I feel like I would have told Nehemiah, like, don't worry. We'll figure it out.
Worry about yourself.
We'll figure it out. Clearly, they don't give a damn about us. Clearly, Laurel don't give a damn about you. So like, let's team up. I just feel like I wouldn't have blamed her if she was petty and didn't do anything.
She
So
also made the comment of like, "Oh, I feel like us as a team, we're all really good and blah blah blah, this and that." And I'm just like, you only saying all of this because you are in danger, because you weren't saying this before. So it's just kind of funny how she switches up on people.
yes. And then so we see Derek K jumps into the mud and must have twisted his ankle or something because the way that he hopped through the entire challenge, I was like, oh my gosh. But he still held
Which
his
he did
own.
great.
Yeah,
I
he
just was
still held his own.
confused as to what actually happened to his foot, because they don't seem to mention it afterwards throughout the episode. He's like fine walking around. So I'm assuming he just twisted his ankle. But I
I'm
did
assuming that
see
as well.
someone said something about Jordan yelling at his team, and I had that in my notes as well. I'm gonna need this man to stop yelling at
Yes.
these grown
Okay.
people.
I'm sorry, but the only time that we see Jordan is when he's yelling at somebody. Literally, we don't see him for anything else. And I am so sorry for this car alarm going off if y'all hear it. But going off just like Jordan during the challenges. But yes, Jordan is just so loud and like so obnoxious that I'm like, I don't understand how they deal with him. Naya, she said that she doesn't mind Jordan yelling because she feels like it motivates her to like keep doing what she has to do. Like she is okay with that type of encouragement, but she understands why people are not cool with it. What I
Oh,
did find
stop.
funny is that he freaking He's over here yelling, and then he ends up popping the balloon.
Popping his own damn balloon. Worry about yourself. Yeah.
Right. And that's what AR mentioned here. Like, come on now. Look at you. Look at you. Look at how that worked out, huh? Funny how the tables turned on you. I want to see Rachel and Laura in an elimination. Maybe we'll get it.
Oh, that would have been nice. Yeah.
Right. That would have been very nice. But then that would have been super nice. Hi, my loves. Which era's gameplay is intriguing you the most?
Gameplay? Honestly, I would probably have to give it to, and I hate that I'm gonna say this, but
I know what you're gonna say.
Era 4 has been like pretty consistent. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like all the other eras are internally imploding, and for some reason, when it comes to eliminations and dailies, Era 4 is just consistently doing well.
Yeah, honestly.
And I don't like those people.
Right. We're not super fans of Era 4, but I will say that it looks like the mastermind behind Era 4 is Kylan. So I will give Kylan his props. He looks like he's the one that is manning that ship and is willing to make alliances and deals wherever he can. And I think that's just also a testament of him being a fan of the show, that he's like looking at this at a different lens. And it also seems to, because Kylan had his back against the wall so much of last season, I feel like he is trying to do his best to not go into elimination and risk his chance of the Millie.
Sorry. He's like the glue.
You know how I feel about that, man. I know, G, you're not a fan of him, but he is doing his thing on the challenge. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I can't even front on that. Even with certain things,
I will also have to give my props. Lena, she probably hears me from where she's at right now and is rolling. But I will have to give my props to Michelle as well, because she has set herself up within her team to be pretty much cushioned all over. So I can't say she's doing a bad job either.
Oh, and I just want to highlight this from Crystal. He had something on his knee at the elimination and tweeted that he isn't sure what he's allowed to say yet about his leg situation, but we'll see at some point. Okay. All right.
I just feel like they kind of brushed over it. That's why I was like,
right.
What's happening?
One thing about y'all is that y'all give credit where it's due. I respect it. Listen, we have to. Even though I don't like some of these people, I have to give it. I have to.
Just wait till she has to talk about Tori.
Stop. I don't like that lady. So then Era 2 and Era 3 and Era 4, they're pretty neck and neck. And as we know, Era 1 is struggling bad. And then Era 2 and 3, they get to the riddles first. Mind you, the riddle, what was the point of that?
I mean, I love a good riddle. I will say I was on the couch watching it, like, is it fire? I think it's fire. And it was fire.
It was fire. But I was just kind of like, okay.
I think it's something good to have, because then it stalls some teams. So it's like, for example, Era 3, they were the first ones to do the riddle, but they didn't necessarily finish in the end. So it like stalls everyone, essentially.
Definitely. All right, so then we see that Era 2 and Era 3 get to the riddles first, and then Era 3 finishes first. However, because Era 4 has more balloons, they end up winning. And then Era 1 comes in dead last, which means Brad and Rachel are automatically going straight into elimination. And I'm like, dang, not Era 1, not our faves. They're really, but they held their own. It is what it is.
They kept up, though. I will give them that. They kept up with one injured and having, I think,
less people.
5 people, right? Yeah, like they didn't have a lot of people to go back and forth, so they had to keep doing it themselves, and they pretty
Right.
much kept up with everyone. So I'll give them credit where it's due.
And then we get into the second half of the episode after they get back to the house. Era 4 has a team meeting and says Johnny and Laurel are two of the biggest threats in the game. Mind you, this meeting is led by Josh, but they built an
Mhm.
agreement with Era 3. So why go back on that, right? That was Kylan that brought that up. Like they
Mhm.
did this whole alliance with Era 3. So why are we all of a sudden going to turn our back on Era 3? Josh is over here like, oh, it's a group decision, blah, blah, blah. But no, I just don't feel like it's the time to put in Johnny. Like, tell me
Make
your
it make
thoughts on this
sense.
because the math
It,
wasn't math.
it's not mathing at all. And to be honest, would you rather a Johnny or would you rather a whole era to have your back?
Right.
It doesn't make sense.
I want to hear the live watchers, right? What would y'all have done if y'all were Josh? I'm pretty sure majority of y'all would agree with us, but please, I just need validation. I need, if Josh, if you ever see this, I hope you see the comments and I hope you notice the comments are not on your side, babes.
And we like you, Josh. Don't get me wrong. We like you. But sometimes you got to put the emotion aside. You got to play to win the
Mhm.
money.
Right.
And you
Bye,
haven't won money
Johnny.
since Big Brother. So,
And goodbye, Laurel. Exactly.
mhm.
Exactly. Uh so then there's a deliberation and Corey makes great statements. All right, where you go into the deliberation. Oh, actually, before we get into deliberation, I want to talk about the fact that um Corey's like obviously like I don't know what's going on. Like, why would he even bother to protect Johnny? Like, I've always had his back. I've never said his name, etc.
Mhm.
How did you feel about this too? Like the little
Um
throwbacks and such.
like just saying like that he doesn't understand why he would do this to him.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't make sense cuz I feel like Corey has definitely always had Josh's back. I don't know if they've ever been like in an alliance per se, but he's always stuck his neck out for him when he could. So I would choose if I was Josh, I would choose Corey over Bananas because Corey is just more loyal, in my opinion, for the people that he actually cares about. So for him to hear that Bananas was going to be saved over him or potentially be saved at this point over him, I'm sure he was a little shook and like, okay, I see you. Like, doesn't make sense, but okay.
Right. Right. Okay, so then we go into deliberation. Corey makes great statements and says Era 1 and Era 2 are working together, and 3 and 4 are working together. At least that's what everybody gathers, right? And then he says Johnny and Laurel are beasts, so make a move now to get you closer to the final. Hello, duh. And this is the best that he sounded the entire season, especially in deliberation.
I think
Like
in
it
the
makes
entire show or series, to be honest, he had his
yeah,
stuff together. He wasn't stuttering. He didn't sound stupid. Like he
it makes
honestly
total
like
sense.
provided everything to Josh.
Hmm. And then Bananas and Laurel say that if they win or when they will, they can repay them if they're saved, which obviously understandably so. Like they're on a strong team as well. But I'm like, so is Era 3. Like again, I just feel like why not try to protect Era 3, who you guys already made deals with? And then Bananas
Mm-hmm.
goes after Josh and says, "Listen, like you backstabbed me in the Challenge USA too, so this would be a great time to make amends because of that." And of course, Josh easily
He
swayed.
falls for it. And I think Bananas even made a comment in the episode. He said he put all the guilt or something on Josh's shoulders, and it basically worked out in his favor. So I was like, this man is playing you. Like like Geppetto, like Davon would say.
Literally.
Mhm.
Played him like a fiddle. It was insane. I just couldn't believe it. And then of course Jenny agrees because Jenny has expressed like Bananas is one of her only friends in the house. So of course she's not gonna throw Bananas in. So then after that, Josh then tells his team they think it's the wrong it would be the wrong move to not save Bananas at this point, and Laurel, well, specifically Bananas. He makes it seem like it's a team effort. It's not a team effort. And they say, like, okay, fine, I guess. Casey even says, like, Josh has so many IOUs that it's gonna eventually come back and bite him in the ass. And that's the realest shit that Casey has said all season, to be quite honest.
Ever, to be honest.
Literally. So
and
he tells
I think we saw something also that Josh posted saying like it didn't show it in the edit, but he also didn't want Rachel to go home to a strong competitor as well, which is essentially why he didn't end up choosing Laurel.
Right. He did tweet that he was also trying to like make sure that Rachel was set up well because they have a really good relationship outside of the show, which I understand, but I was just like, I feel like Rachel could have beat Laurel. I feel like that would have been a really good matchup.
She would
But
have
I
found a
get
way to beat her.
but I get not risking it, but still, I just felt like it was more of so he can make amends for Bananas rather than protecting Rachel, in my opinion. At least that's how it looked. So then they go and tell Janae and Corey that it's gonna be them, and they're pissed, rightfully so. He tells Johnny, as they should be. Corey's like, listen, now I know where you stand, and I just know you're gonna be a target next time. Easy. Like, if I gotta go in, I gotta go in. But now I know who's gonna be the target when I get the chance to choose you.
And he says, and I'm coming back. So just
and I'm coming back. Right. And I love that. I lived for that moment. I said, yes, go ahead, Corey. This is what we want to see. Okay. This is what we want to see from you. And it makes total sense. Like, Corey's never been against him, has taken like just been by his side, has never said his name, obviously has been there from the start of Josh's challenge career in multiple seasons with him. So like, why not just like
and again, Josh, you were probably not for a long time going to ever even come out of Corey's mouth at all. Corey has bigger fish to fry, to be honest. So it just didn't make sense to me why you would do that.
Right. So we're gonna move on from that. And then we go ahead and like we see them at the club. Obviously, like Josh and Corey have a conversation in there. Corey's like he's gonna stay focused at all times, like it doesn't matter.
Laurel makes a slick comment. She's like, oh, she's kind of shook basically that she doesn't understand how these people are stupid enough to not throw her and Johnny in. And to be honest, she's right. Nothing wrong with what she said there because you have the golden opportunity. Take it.
Yeah, which again, like I just don't understand. Like, look at Laurel and Bananas laughing at y'all. Look at all the turmoil that Laurel has caused, and y'all are still not throwing her in. Why?
And I think Cara makes a point about that. Like, she just doesn't understand how Laurel can literally do all this stuff and just get away with it, and there be no consequences essentially
for her actions. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And then so as they're leaving the bar club spot, Bananas tells Michelle he hopes whatever is going on between her and Devin is actually valid. Mind you, we don't see this on camera, but he's still mic'd up, so we hear him telling her this, and that he hopes that Devin is not using her for the game. she goes and relays this to Devin when they get back to the house, and he is pissed. break this whole situation down, please, Brandon, because this, I say, here go Banana again.
So she tells Devin about it, and as you said, he's pissed. I don't think he confronts Bananas that night, but then the next day, we see Bananas go, I think, into like the living room area where they're all sitting, and Devin's just like, oh, what'd you say to Michelle yesterday? I heard you were trying to like break us up, like you don't like us together, blah blah blah. And Bananas straight up lies. He's basically saying that he said to Michelle that he hopes that Devin doesn't try to drive a wedge between him and Michelle's friendship because they're like cool off camera. And I think even Olivia is like, that was a lie. I was right there.
Yeah,
You did
Liv
not
was
say
there.
that. Like, but you literally just watching this, I feel like you see the big brother coming out of Bananas because he's just straight up lying.
Yes,
and these people are falling for it, essentially. I think even your fave, Tori, was like, he probably did say that. But
yeah.
But yeah, it was just funny to watch.
Yes, it was funny to watch, and I felt, I mean, like, well, clearly now we know how much Michelle and Devin do like each other. For those that don't know, they do have a relationship.
We do. Did we get it from that?
I mean,
I see
not
two
really.
people cuddling. I don't know if they really like each other.
It was definitely like the early stages, but they like each other enough to make it official, right? Because now they're boyfriend and girlfriend.
Yeah, we love showmances for benefits, but yeah,
right. You know, politicking. I love that. If I'm gonna praise Naya for it, I'm not gonna praise Michelle for it. But hey, to each their own. And what was this? Is he pissed? It looks so scripted. I'm bored. I know, sis. I'm
very
bored
much.
Too.
Very much.
I was bored by that. I was like, okay, yeah, it was giving Big Brother with that whole strategy by Bananas to make a mess out of their showmans. So that was that conversation. Anything else y'all want to talk about regarding that? Because yeah. No. I'm done. All right, moving on. So we're gonna go to the elimination. And again, it's Rachel and Brad for era 1 as the targets, and they're automatically going into the elimination stand. And then we have obviously Corey and Janae. It's been established they're going in, not Bananas and Laurel, which it should have been them. So the elimination, it's called To the Point. And I'm not gonna lie, like looking at this, I was a little confused. I was like, what the hell are they about to do? I'm so lost.
It was very confusing. So basically within the rules, each player has they have a side, right? And they have a giant course within it. Each side has a whole bunch of spikes on the wall, right? And the goal is to throw the balls that they have lined up in the middle to the opposite wall and have them land within the spikes. Once the ball is in between the wall and the designated line, though, in case you miss it, it's a dead ball. So they have to keep going until all of the balls are gone. And TJ also mentions that you can either end up playing offense or defense, depending on the situation that you're in. If you need more balls or you don't have enough balls, it's completely up to you. And whoever scores the most balls on the spikes end up winning. So here we go again with another. It's another similar to the daily challenge, another strategic game. Like it really depends on the strategy that you have because you can win either way. It was, I will say though, if it was me down there, I would have been confused as hell because I had to watch it like twice to end up getting what the strategy was.
Yes, I agree. I definitely agree with that. The elimination reminded me of the All Stars 4-1 when Rachel got eliminated.
That was simpler.
That was
That was
much more
easier to
simpler. That was just
understand.
darts. That was just the
Mhm.
the darts thing with the stars. But I guess like you need aim. You definitely need aim to get that through. The target twist will be interesting when there are no more teams. Definitely gonna be interesting when they break that up, Sophie. But
Mhm.
yes, I was just as confused as you. I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm gonna have to rewatch this. But again, it definitely depends on the strategy. So the first round, it's Brad and Corey, and Corey starts off strong, sticking a few balls. You could tell like they're really trying to figure out how hard they should be throwing these balls because they tend to like bounce back if you chuck them too hard. So it's like you gotta like lightly toss them or whatever. Brad,
Corey was doing the basketball chest
yes,
passes,
yes,
and
yes,
that seemed to do really well for him because he started off really, really strong and he
for
stuck a few
sure.
balls. Brad, on the other hand, he was just using his arms and they kept bouncing off and bouncing off and bouncing off. And he eventually catches up. However, Corey comes up with a strategy to throw his balls out of play so that Brad has less of a chance to catch up. And it comes down to one last ball. And Brad misses it, and Corey throws it out of bounds, and Corey ends up winning because he has more balls stuck to the wall. So I was like, okay, Corey using strategy and catching up and everything. I was like, he's definitely in it to win it this season.
Right, Corey ate. I'm not gonna lie. Corey did his big
Mhm.
one. He was
This was
being
his
smart.
episode.
Yeah, this was his episode for sure, and he really showcased how determined he was to make it out of this. And with and I did feel a bit bad for Brad because again, like I don't feel like Brad got much shine this episode, even though he was a
He
target
didn't.
and he was a
Mhm.
part of like I feel like we barely got to see Brad at all this season. But Brad has always been a very great competitor, especially in the All-Star seasons. He always makes it very far. Last season, not so much. It was one of those like very interesting performances by Brad because again, he at least makes it halfway through the season, if not like to the finale, in some capacity, or at least very far. But shout out to you, Brad. I'm sure we will see you soon. You did hold your own, but Corey was the winner. That was the man of the hour. So
Yeah, he didn't
then,
look too mad at it. He
yeah,
knew
I
he
mean,
was
I feel like
outplayed.
Brad is never a sore loser
Mhm.
at all. Like Brad, in any shape, way, or form, he always holds his head held high whenever he loses. He's never been that type to be a sore loser. Similar to like CT, I think Era One in general, like they do take their L's
They're good
gracefully.
losers. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they
They're
crack on
not.
themselves. Obviously, like
Yeah.
Darrell, he makes so much commentary. You're like, bro, like we are struggling, but they always like have no problem like just saying like, listen, that's the L. I gotta take it. I'll be back.
Mhm.
Um, so then we see Janae and Rachel. So go ahead, Brandon. You could get into that, like how that one went.
So it's Johnny and Rachel, right? Rachel, of course, being Rachel, starts off strong and she starts sticking a few balls pretty much immediately. Johnny's struggling a bit in the beginning. She's trying to get the strategy down of how exactly to get these balls to stick to the wall, which she eventually does. And they start sticking for some. However, Rachel kind of does what Corey essentially does and starts playing defense, blocking some of Johnny's balls. And it was reminding me of volleyball when someone was trying to like do the the hit and
For
she was
sure.
just like,
Oh, the
no,
spike.
no, no,
Yep.
yes. She was blocking all her balls. I felt so bad because she is shorter, but she just needed to come up with a different strategy. And you even saw Jordan getting frustrated because he was trying to tell her what to do and she was just not listening. She was struggling.
Yeah.
She basically ends up losing, and Rachel wins. So she's kind of I don't know if Janae was essentially defeated, but I don't think I think she kind of gave up once she found out that she was going against Rachel. Because she even said, she was like, I think earlier on, she was like, Rachel's a beast or something like that. So I think she got in her head a little bit, which I wish she didn't do, because I really do like Janae. And I feel like after winning twice in a row, she hasn't been doing great lately. Not because of her ability, but because people want her out.
I think with Janae, the problem is that Janae thinks that I feel like Janae feels like people owe her respect being a champ for All Stars back to back. And I feel like she thinks that's going to carry her. And I don't think that her alliances or her connections with people are as strong as she thinks that they are. And yes, I do think that they were setting up Janae's exit since last episode for sure. I don't know if she will be back for season 41. Sophie, to be quite honest, she did kind of make a comment like, like I'm gonna be gone for a while or something like that, or I'm gonna just go back home and spend some time with my family for a while. So I'm not entirely sure. I could see her doing All Stars, but again, with her showing the last few seasons, like, think about it, like, she was on World Championship, she's been on All Stars, she's been on 41 now, and each time she goes home fairly early. So I'm not entirely sure when she's gonna come back, but to comment on how if she gave up, maybe she did. I think she was just gassed out. Like literally, Rachel looks like she does this in her sleep. The way she was chucking them balls,
she wasn't slowing down. I will say that
at all. She literally looks like she's done the dang elimination before. And yeah, Jordan yelling at her, and you could tell like Jordan really wanted Janae to stay. Like obviously with how much he was like yelling, but I think he also has to recognize like Janae is not that type of person that needs that encouragement. So
she does well on her own. She does
She does well on her own. But I could see him being frustrated because he's like, hello, like she's playing defense. Like when she's down, that's when you should be chucking the ball. When she's picking up balls, that's when you should be chucking. And Jordan Janae did date. Yes. Yeah, we know. Well, Jordan dates everybody. But but yes, I just feel like, yeah, maybe she just realized, honestly, I don't think that I'm going to beat Rachel, but I'm gonna try my best. Like she's not gonna entirely quit. And I'll respect that. But yeah, as we all know, Rachel ends up winning. And I was dying at Tina. She was like, she said something like, yeah, bitch. That's how you know it's something. It was Tina's commentary.
Tina's funny.
Tina is so funny all the time. So again, Rachel ends up winning. Pretty much the rest of Era 1 is road rules. I believe that was Sophie that had said that. It's just road rules, people, from Era 1, which I think is awesome. And then we find out who the next targets are. So Tina and Darrell step up to the plate. They're like, hey, y'all could choose me.
Well, Tina didn't have a choice.
Tina didn't have a choice. Right. So then Nehemiah ends up getting chosen because Rachel wants the gays to stay. Hello. She's gonna make sure. Chosen. Yeah, and bananas can't get chosen because for those that don't know, if you are chosen as a target, you can't get chosen back to back again. And then Aviv gets chosen finally. Finally, she gets chosen as a quick
question. I have a question. Why was Corey acting like, oh, it's between Kara and Aviv? He was like, I don't know, trying to go back and forth. I'm like, Corey, you know Kara. You don't know Aviv. It didn't make sense to me.
Right. I didn't understand that either. I was like, you know who to choose. Choose Aviv. She doesn't owe you, like, y'all have no connection, please.
None at
And
all.
then we have Anaya volunteer, and then of course Jordan, but Naya, I love how Naya
This
was
part had
like,
me cracking up because Naya's all of
give
us.
yo, Naya is all of us, because I don't care what nobody says. Corey is fine. Like, Corey is one of the finest men on the challenge. So Naya said, "Give it to me, daddy." And I said, real, real. What is her problem, bro? Like, she's so
Oh
funny. Oh my
god.
god. Naya, please never change. Never.
A home man with 3 children and a girl
A
back there.
whole man with 3 children. And she said, "Give it to me, daddy." I say, I know that's right. Any chance I could get to say, I would. Okay. Naya, just like me for real. I thought Naya was dating both Kylan and Josh. She's not dating. She's just messing
She
around.
appreciates fine men, as
She
she
appreciates
should.
the buffet, the array of fine
Mhm.
men in the house. Like, come on. Keeks, would you bang Naya? Absolutely. If I was, absolutely. I would be her scissor sister if I wanted, if I wanted that.
Oh my god.
But I don't go that way, but she's attractive. She's a beautiful woman. Like,
She
come on
is
now.
very beautiful.
She's Amazonian, like literally stunning. Avery again under the radar. Well, we saw her a little bit more. We did see her a little bit more this episode.
I saw the back of her head. It was
The
there.
back of your
So
head is-
where did you see her in the episode? Because I didn't see her.
in the background.
Right. I saw Aviv more than I saw her this episode.
Right.
to
We
be
did
honest.
see Aviv more. But please let's move on. And then for
And then the Era
Target
4 target are Kylan and Michelle.
and Michelle,
Because they both end
volunteered.
up stepping up.
Yeah, Michelle volunteered, y'all. Shocker. I was very surprised by that. But
I mean, she had no choice at that point. But I do have a quick question. Did Casey go down yet?
no.
She went down. Did she go down in the first episode? Like when they were doing the purge thing?
Did she?
I'm trying to think. No,
I don't
because it
think
was
so.
Nerissa and Olivia.
Yeah.
So why is Casey getting away with this?
I don't know.
Is she
I
that
don't
strong
know.
to her team?
I haven't.
it's
Casey
confusing
literally
to
has
me.
never even been discussed as a target. I'm
That
sorry.
is
If your team
insane to
didn't win
me.
and you're a target, you should always be eligible, in my opinion. Facts. Shocking
Yup.
Michelle chooses to be the target with the lineup of girls. Exactly. No, Casey has never been picked. Exactly. Thank you, Sophie. Yeah. I don't know why she's flying under the radar.
She's just
But then
flying
again,
under the radar.
maybe they're also forgetting that she's there too. Just like us. Maybe. I would.
Oh god.
Casey volunteered on episode 3. That's too long ago. It's episode 6. Volunteer again.
Oh god.
Or maybe she was just like, waiting for Michelle to step up to the plate again. I really don't know, but hey, that concludes the recap of the episode, which again, it was not that entertaining. This really could have been an email. We could have ended this 30 minutes ago, to be quite honest.
I feel like we made this more entertaining than the actual episode was, to be honest.
Yeah, honestly. Y'all made it more entertaining. Like y'all's commentary, us chatting it up with y'all. This was more entertaining than the whole episode. But do you want to discuss the sneak preview of next week's episode a little bit?
Yeah. Remind us a little bit of what happened.
I can't imagine. You want to know why? Because the recording stopped.
Wait. It did the same thing for me.
Okay, guys. So real quick. So we record the episode right on Hulu. We watch the episode on Hulu, and literally because when you record the episode on Hulu, it doesn't catch the sneak preview. So we're always like, what the heck? I think Lena is the main one that catches the sneak preview because she ends up watching it live.
Mhm.
But Brandon and I, we can't because of work sometimes. So we end up watching the recording, and bro, it cut off the whole sneak preview. I don't know a dang thing that happened. So
Oh,
I saw,
actually, I saw a little clip. I do remember a little bit. So, like Sophie said, it looks like Ryan and Bananas are fighting. And I think
okay.
Ryan says, I think Bananas is telling Nehemiah something about Ryan and Derek. And then Ryan says, Banana, stop acting like you have a golden spoon up your ass, if I
Oh,
remember correctly.
okay.
So I guess he's like trying to basically say, like, oh, Ryan or Derek, you guys should go in. And they're like, no. But we'll see what happens. That's the only little thing that I caught, though.
Yeah, yeah. I think I remember that too now that you said it. I watched your lives before, but I'm starting to love you. I hope that's what
How
you
do you
meant
wait? How
by
do
I
you do
start.
the millennial heart?
Oh,
The whatever. I can't do it.
Zillennial heart, Gen Z heart. I got it now. I was doing gang signs, guys, trying to do that
Wait,
before.
why can't I do it?
No, you
Oh,
gotta
you gotta
do
like. I'm gonna get arthritis. I
just
can't be
practice.
doing all that.
Right, just practice it later. Not on the live, okay? They could use this against us. But guys, I listened to Kyle on Zach Nichols podcast regarding he is blackballed because of Cara Maria. I'm not surprised. Yeah, I'm not surprised.
I did
Dreadful
see he was
Ruby.
on.
I don't like the volunteering, so boring. I agree. It's getting boring.
Same.
So I will say I am kind of tired of the teams. I do hope that within the next 2 episodes, there's a switch up in some way. I hope it does become an individual game. Especially with Era 1 dwindling like that. I do hope that they're able to push through the next 2 episodes, but I really do want it to become an individual game at this point.
You know what would be fun to watch? If everyone that is up for or up as a target gets to do a secret vote for themselves for each era. And if they win that elimination and they go down, right? Their secret vote for each era gets automatically picked. So that there's no like, I'll take it, TJ. Like, no.
Right. Yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I agree.
That
And
like
I kind
everyone's
of
like on their toes and they don't know who voted for who and like what is
mhm.
happening. And I think that'll be fun.
And I don't know, like I kind of wish they would like let people get chosen as targets back to back.
Same. Because I would keep throwing Bananas and Laurel down. I don't care.
Go, let's go. You're the target. You're the target. Come on. So what do we have? Like 16 weeks left? Probably. Yeah. Because it's like a 22 season episode. This is
You know
gonna
what's
be
crazy? I
crazy.
thought about that today when I was rewatching the episode because
Right? It's
God,
the VA, whatever.
the VA. I can't do
Or
science. I'm
they went
sorry.
like this. They scissor sisters too. I don't know.
They were doing a lot. But I thought about that today actually when I was watching the episode again. And I was like, oh, there's only like 6 or 7 more episodes left. And I was like, wait, no. That was All Stars.
Yeah.
This is the regular season.
This is a regular season. We're gonna be in here for a minute, guys.
Jesus.
Oh my gosh. I don't know. But so much is going on in the challenge universe. You see that the challengers are super active. If y'all are not on Twitter, get on Reddit. They recap everything. Follow those like challenge shade room accounts, GamerVev, which is like MTV Challenge Insider. Who else? There's just a good amount of
The
accounts that
challenge
you can follow.
spoilers.
Challenge
Or no,
spoilers. Well, that's if you want to know spoilers.
well, I
All
love
Stars 5
spoilers.
will be here at some point, definitely. I don't know if they're gonna air it while 40 is on. considering 40 is
Probably
fighting
not.
for its life right now, especially with the fact that they're competing against Survivor airing at the same time. So I don't know. I don't think we're gonna see All Stars 5 for a minute. I think we might see All Stars 5 at the start of the year, the new year. Yes, and apparently it will be on MTV according to the challenge rumor mill.
5.
So
They could have did that with 4. I'm very
right.
mad at them.
And listen, they could have done a lot because they don't even make this accessible. They don't even make Challenge 40 accessible to watch for most of the fans. You either got to go through like Hulu, Philo,
Your
YouTube
friends.
TV, your friends. You got to have cable to watch. It's a lot. So, but
Mhm.
that concludes our review. Do you have anything else that you want to touch on, Brandon?
No, I mean, I hope next week's episode brings more drama and doesn't have me bored. I'll say that.
Oh yes, Challenge 40 is available now on Paramount Plus for the UK, but not for the US. But yes, shout out to the UK though. They deserve to at least be able to watch it. Like, come on.
I mean, they have UK people on the show. I
show.
don't see why they wouldn't.
Right. But yes, I do wish this season had a battle back more and more every episode because we lost so many people. Sophie, you had made a couple comments in the chat mentioning how like Paulie,
Not a battle Amanda.
Back. I mean, I would not a battle back.
A redemption house. You bringing Big Brother into the
guys. I'm sorry. I've been watching Big Brother. And in Canada too. God. Thank you, Dreadful Ruby, for letting us know. And in Canada too. But yes, I do wish there was a redemption house. I felt like the season deserved that in some capacity. I don't think that we're gonna be surprised and that's gonna be brought back later on, but would have been nice. We have nothing else to comment on. We dragged this live as best as, to the best of our abilities, but thank you guys so much for tuning in, for commenting and chatting in with us. We really appreciate it. Sophie, thank you so much. This is your first time catching us live, I believe. Like you said earlier, AR, appreciate it. We're not gonna do the VIA sign like that ever again. Dreadful Ruby, Crystal, Bloody Money, everybody else that's been watching us, thank you so much. And G, I love you, G. You already know that's my girl. If y'all don't know G, get on Twitter, follow G Shit Community, GSHXT. She does so many spaces covering reality TV shows. She's awesome. She's amazing. She actually just interviewed Kenny from Love Island USA on Twitter.
And it was good, you guys.
And it was really, good.
Really
so
good.
if you guys loved Love Island USA, and any other of those reality TV shows like Big Brother, The Circle, The Mole, etc., G covers them. So definitely check her out on Twitter and hopefully in the YouTube universe soon come. But thank you guys so much for tuning in to Reality Unloaded Podcast. This concludes our review. Make sure to follow us on Reality Unloaded Pod on Instagram and Reality Unloaded Podcast on TikTok. Make sure to hit that like button, share, comment, and subscribe. And next time we won't be as tardy, maybe. Let me, can't promise that.
Don't hold us to it. Yeah.
We're getting better at it, guys. Okay. So thank you so much again for tuning in. Have a great evening and a great weekend. Stay safe, everybody. Love to all. Millennial Heart. Zillennial Heart.
I can't.
You almost got.
Bye.
Bye, all. Thank you.